Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I will share with you my top 10 trash to treasure DIYs that I made over the past year. So let's go ahead and get started. DIY number 1. This is probably one of my favorite projects that I have made. So this box I found at my local thrift store. It was I believe a box came from Target Dollar Spot. It was $5 to begin with, but I got it for $1.25. So I'm going to use the Mod Podge, this sponge, and then this knob that I got at Hobby Lobby with 40% off coupon, and then this beautiful craft paper also from Hobby Lobby for 25 cents. So the first thing, I am drilling a hole where the knob is going to go. Then I'm sanding these letters just a little bit so they're not rough. And then I am putting first layer of Mod Podge. After that, I am going to put my craft paper down. I am smoothing it out, making sure there's no bubbles underneath. And after that, I am sanding off the edges of the box. There were some rough spots, and I made sure they're smooth now. Now I'm taking this light gray upper barrel acrylic paint, and I watered it down, making it look like a stain, and I am staining this box. I really wanted it to be more grayish than this natural color. Now that my top is dried, I'm using a sanding paper and sanding around the edges. That way the leftover of the paper that was on the edges is going to come off, and everything will look nice and smooth. Also, I'm going more around the edges, making sure I fade out those notes. I wanted the edges to look very rustic. And then I'm putting the top layer of a Mod Podge to seal it, and I'm attaching this knob. And after that, I decided to take a Beverly chalk paint in a color truffle and just distress the edges a little bit and go over the box, making it look even more rustic. And I really like how that contrast looks like. And this is how my box turned out. I absolutely love this box. This is my favorite project that I made for a long time. And then I actually gifted this to my friend for Christmas, and I know she loves essential oils, and I know that she absolutely loved it. I was hoping to find another box like this to make another one for myself. Hopefully I'll be able to find it. DIY number 2. I am using these just boards that I found around my garage, and I had 3 of them. So I'm gonna measure where I need to cut with my miter saw, one of them. So I'm cutting one of them in half. I'm taking out the nails that were there, and I am assembling with my glue and wood glue and some screws, creating a little rectangle shaped box. So this is actually going to be a drawer, and I didn't have any plywood or anything, so I decided to take a very hard cardboard, 2 pieces of it, and I'm hot gluing them with a super glue and hot glue. And that's going to be my bottom. I am attaching it with the small nails. Since this is going to be on a covered patio, it really doesn't matter what's on the bottom, and I'm putting artificial flowers in it anyway. So now I'm sanding off the edges. I want it to be a little smoother than it really is. And then I'm going to use Rust-Oleum chalk paint in a linen white color, and I am painting it. Again, I'm not painting it too perfectly. I wanted some rustic to show through, but I didn't want it to be that really chipped. Now I'm using this handle that I got at the yard sale, and I'm just attaching it with a combination of hot glue and super glue. Now I am sanding edges a little bit, and then I'm also distressing it with the Beverly chalk paint in a color truffle. After that, I'm putting these styrofoam pieces that I got from the packaging, and then I'm painting the top layer with the green paint because I'm going to use a moss, and I didn't want white to show through. After I put the moss, I'm using this baby breath flowers that came from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just putting them randomly inside of this box. And pretty much that's going to be it for this project. I love this drawer. I always wanted to make a drawer, and when I saw these pieces, I knew exactly what I wanted to make. What I love about this drawer is that it is so versatile. I didn't really glue anything down, so I was able to take out the flowers, replace the flowers, and also I was able to use it for a pumpkin season. I filled it up with small pumpkins, and it was so perfect. I really liked it, and I want to hear what you think about this one. DIY number 3. I'm using this plastic leftover from the box of chocolate, and I am using this Krylon Fusion white spray paint, and I am giving it a really good coat. After that, I'm using Waverly chalk paints in a color mineral and truffle, and I'm starting to distress this. First, I started with the mineral, and I am then adding a truffle as well. I wanted it really to have that wood grain look, so I just distressed it with this chippy brush until I was happy the way it looks like, and I did this all the way around. Now I'm going to take these wood beads that I previously painted in white as well, because I wanted to cover them. They were from the Dollar Tree, so they had a bunch of different colors. You know how they come in the Dollar Tree. And I am painting them all in a Waverly chalk paint in the color truffle. After that, I'm attaching 4 of them on the bottom of this square tray, and then the rest of them I separated in 2 little piles, and I'm putting them on the wire. I am twisting the end of the wire, and I am going to hot glue them on each side of this square tray. They're going to represent handles. Now I'm taking jute twine that came from the Dollar Tree, and I'm wrapping it on the top portion of this tray, because there is also one little part of the tray that gets, it has a little indentation, so I wanted to cover it up, and also to cover up where I hot glued the handles, and that way also handles will be way more sturdier. After that, I'm using a Rust-Oleum crystal clear top coat, and I'm spraying it on my tray. I wanted to make sure everything is nice and sealed. And this is it. This is the cute little tray that was made out of the trash, pretty much out of trash, things that we would toss normally. And I'm really happy the way it turned out, and I'm happy that really has that wood grain look that I was going for, and it's just a plastic piece of plastic. Tell me what you think about this one. DIY number 4. I'm using this top from the candle that came from Aldi. I really like the pattern on it, so I kind of decided to save it, and I'm glad I did. I'm using now a Waverly chalk paint in the color mineral, and I am giving it 2 really good coats. I love this mineral color because it reminds me of concrete, so I'm using it often. Now, after I was done with adding this color, and when everything was completely dried, I'm going to take a Waverly chalk paint in a color Silver Lining that is very, very light gray color, and I'm dry brushing it. So that way this pattern on the lid is going to show through. I also decided to use opposite, so darker brown color. It is Truffle by Waverly, and do the same thing. I wanted to raise that beautiful design on it. So now, after I was done with the lid, and when I was happy the way it looks like, I'm going to start with creating a frame. I'm going to take this poster board and these craft sticks that I have, I bought, I believe, at Walmart or Lowe's for 98 cents. I'm going to first cut out the tips of these craft sticks. I want to make sure they have straight edges. After that, I am sanding the edges just a little bit, and then I'm taking the brown acrylic paint that I watered it down, and I am painting these sticks. I wanted to make sure the wood grain is still showed through. This was one of my very first projects when I started doing crafts, and you know, you learn things along the way. I learned that if you paint craft sticks, you should paint both sides because they do get curved a little bit. So that's a tip for you and for myself, a reminder to do that next time. Now that they are painted, I'm going to lay them down on my cardboard in a pattern that I wanted. and I'm going to trace with my pencil so I know where I need to cut it. After I cut out the square, I am going to go ahead and take this Waverly chalk paint in a linen white color, or actually silver lining, sorry, and I'm going to take a chippy brush from the Dollar Tree and just create very simple lines, kind of a texture on this plain white cardboard. After that, I am attaching, or actually hot gluing, these craft sticks around my square cardboard. That way that will represent a frame. And then when I was done with gluing these, I'm going to take a hot glue and I'm going to put it on the inside of this lid from the candle, and I'm going to attach it right in the middle of this new created frame. I'm going to just stand it up in one of my holders that I created from Jenga blocks, and that's it for this project. I think this project is very cute. I think it's just a great addition to a shelf, and it is made out of literally things that I would throw away, and that's what I like the most. Tell me your thoughts about this one. Friends, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back and for being my supporter. I'm Jelena, stay-at-home mom of 2 kids, love crafting and doing DIY projects, all on a budget, mostly rustic and farmhouse style. So if you like something like this, please come check out my other videos. Hopefully you like them enough to subscribe. Check out my Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. I share a lot of my DIYs over there as well. Just come and say hi. On to the DIY number 5. I'm going to create these beautiful, beautiful rustic napkin rings. I'm taking this cardboard roll that was left over, I think, from foil. I'm taking box cutters and cutting them up in 4 little pieces, and then I'm sanding off the edges. Next, I'm painting them all with this mineral chalk paint by Waverly, and then I'm going to take this jute ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to measure how much I need to cut to wrap it all the way around each ring. I'm cutting 4 of them, and then I am going to start hot gluing them all the way around these rings. Now I'm taking this cotton jute twine from the Dollar Tree. It's in a white color, and I created a very simple bow. This is super simple. You just wrap it around your fingers and tie it in the middle. That's pretty much it. I am also adding a very cute little button in a gray color right in the middle, and that's it for this project. Can you believe that these super cute rustic farmhouse napkin rings were made in literally 10 minutes, and they were made out of, cardboard that will go in the trash. I love these, and I want to see what you guys think about this one. DIY number 6. This project I actually got the best feedback for when I first posted. You guys loved it, so I want to hear now what you think about it. These cute rolling pins I actually made again out of trash. So I'm taking again these cardboard leftover rolls from something that I had in the kitchen. And then I'm taking also these wooden dowels. They are actually leftovers from paintbrushes from the Dollar Tree, foam paintbrushes. First I'm going to just cut out to the size that I want, then sand the edges. One will be larger and one will be smaller. After that I'm going to take foam board, and I'm going to cut out 4 circles. Then I'm going to hot glue on each side of my tube, or actually new created rolling pins. I'm using this Dollar Tree E6000 comparison glue, and I am adding a little bit of hot glue and I'm gluing it. Now I'm going to cut these dowels in half, and then I'm going to give a good sand to their edges. After that, I'm taking this Waverly chalk paint in a color mineral, and I'm going to paint my cylinders, or actually rolling pins. I'm going to give them one good coat. When I was done with all of that, I'm going to take this Waverly chalk paint in a color truffle to distress it. I'm taking the chippy brush from the Dollar Tree and I'm just going over them, distressing them wherever I think it's needed. After that, I am going on to the handles, or actually those mini dowels. I am giving them one full coat of this truffle chalk paint by Waverly. And after that, I'm taking this mineral chalk paint and I am distressing them. So I did opposite what I did of the cylinders. Okay, now that we have all these done, I'm just using a hot glue to attach dowels, or actually handles, to each edge of this rolling pins. I am writing homemade on one of them and I am tracing it with the marker, and then I'm wrapping white jute twine around the edge of both of them, creating a mini bow. And that's it for these mini rolling pins. I still love them to this day. I think it is genius, honestly, because you're using something that you already have at home that you would toss anyway. DIY number 7. I'm using these boxes from Ferrero Rocher chocolate. We all love that chocolate, I believe. And then I'm taking these caps from orange juice, I believe, and then also water caps. I'm going to use this Rust-Oleum spray paint, then in a color brown, then mineral chalk paint by Waverly and Rust-Oleum chalk paint in a linen white color, then 2 different type of glues, hot glue and super glue. First, I'm putting these caps together, like you see me doing it over here, combining 2 glues, and then I'm going to make sure I'm going to attach them all together. You have a full tutorial of all these projects in my original videos. I'm going to link them down in the description box so you can go ahead and see it. Now I'm going to go ahead and give one full coat to these plastic boxes with the mineral chalk paint, and after everything is dried, I am distressing them with the white Rust-Oleum chalk paint. Now that my caps are all spray painted, I am taking this mineral chalk paint and I am distressing them completely. I really wanted, especially these large caps, to be completely distressed. I didn't want that shiny brown paint to show through. That's the only spray paint that I had, so I went with it. So now it's time to assemble everything. I am putting the caps on the bottom of one of the trays. And then after that, I am going to find a center to put the larger caps that now are gonna represent the middle part of this tier tray. After I was done with all this, I'm gonna use a Mod Podge to seal everything, because it's a plastic underneath, and you know, paint can be chipped if it's not sealed. And this is my tier tray that I created from trash. I really want to hear what you guys think about this one. Would you recreate something like this? Would you think twice if you're going to throw away these plastic containers from chocolate? Also, another way I like to use these plastic boxes from chocolate is in my drawers, especially in my office drawer. They're perfect for holding little things in place. DIY number 8. I'm using this box that came in my mail, and I first wanted to paint it, but I really like the pattern on it. It is very unique and super cool, but there's a little damage on the front from the label. I'm going to show you that in just a second. So I needed to think what I want to do. I'm going to actually cut off the little edges, and then I'm going to cut this flap in half. After that, I am going to take this white jute twine, cotton jute twine from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to wrap it a few times around my fingers, and then I will tie it in the middle. That way I'm creating a little mini bow, let's say. I'm going to do that 2 times. And then I will hot glue one of them on the top of the box, right there where it was damaged from the label. And then I'm going to hot glue another one across. And then I have a little bead pin that I'm going to put right in the middle. Then I'm taking this burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I'm pulling out the wire And then I'm going to go ahead and hot glue it on that flap that I actually cut in half. And I'm gonna just hot glue the edges on the back to make it nice and seamless. I'm taking that pin, push pin again, that looks like a bead, and I'm gonna put it on the bottom part, like I'm showing over here, and I'm gonna hot glue that little pin that was from the inside. I'm creating a little loop from that jute twine and putting it on the top part, and then I'm using 3 strands of the jute twine, and I'm creating a braid that I'm going to put in the corners to cover up this part where 2 cardboards meet. And this is how my box turned out. I love it, and my daughter took it right away. She wanted to put her little hair bows in them, and she still to this day uses this. So I think it's a great way to repurpose a box that you would throw away anyway. What do you think about this one? I want to remind you that my regular upload times are Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I do sometimes participate in collaborations and challenges that have different times, and if that happens, I'm going to let you know in advance in my community tab or Instagram. DIY number 9. I saw this beautiful lantern, galvanized lantern. I believe it was Kirkland's for $19.99 if I'm not correct, and I knew I can recreate it for way less. So I'm taking this container from the protein powder, and I'm going to spray paint it with this metallic spray paint. But first I cut off the top, and then I'm taking this wire from the basket from the Dollar Tree, creating a handles. After everything was spray painted, I am taking these 3 paints, so dark gray, light gray, and white, and I'm galvanizing, or actually dabbing them on, creating a galvanized look. So you know how to do galvanized, just alternate all these colors, dabbing them with a sponge until you're happy with the way it looks like. Now with the black marker, I'm pulling these lines. They're going to represent the lines that are on original piece. They're not going to be cut out like an original piece, but they create an illusion. Now I'm just using my craft sticks and kind of making little lines that are same in the original piece. Now I'm using this copper and gold, I believe, or brown acrylic paint to add a little dimension to these lines. Then I am adding handles, creating a hole with my hot glue gun, and that's it. This is how my lantern dupe turned out. I love how it looks like, and I also love that it can be used as a flower pot, and I think it looks so beautiful. I love it. I still have it to this day. DIY number 10. That's my last DIY for today. I'm using a leftover of this tape, so this ring, cardboard ring, and I'm using this jute twine from the Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna just wrap it tightly all the way around. This took a little bit of time, but it was still fun to do. So after everything was wrapped, this is how it looks like. I think it looks gorgeous. So since this was around Easter time, and it's actually a perfect time for now, I added these small foam eggs from Dollar General. They were $1 all the way around this ring. So there's no particular pattern. I just decided to add them all the way around, and if you're doing this, you can really use your imagination and add the way you want it. And they fit perfectly into these artificial candles, LED candles from the Dollar Tree, and I think it looks so beautiful. Now also, I decided to show you another way to use this. I added a little jute twine. I'm going to show you that in just a second. I added a little jute twine on this mini ring, and that way that can be hanged somewhere as a mini wreath. So you see me doing that over here right now. So happy to be sharing these with you because I love recycling, repurposing, using things that we would normally throw away. So I want to hear from you, which one of this was your favorite? Would you recreate any of these? And I hope you like this video. If you do, like it, give it a thumbs up, share it, and also subscribe if you're new. I would love to have you. Don't forget to click on notification bell on to all. That way you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.